Hi, Leo. Welcome to Garden of Mythos and your March 2024 reading. My name is Lucrezia. If you are new here, please do consider subscribing if the reading resonates with you. If you're looking to connect with me on social media or book a personal reading, the links are in the description box below. Leo, there's a difference between being ruled by principle and being ruled by emotion and the restriction of emotion. Perhaps in the time that you have spent in the hermitage, in your inner world, you have conflated the two, which is easy enough to do. When we shut ourselves, our true selves away, or an aspect of ourself away from the world, from the people that we engage with, even, we forget how to draw wisdom from the outside. We tend to form isms and ideologies that help us uphold our ego and help us justify the barriers that we put around ourselves. And in some cases, how we feel becomes the truth. And it becomes principle, when in actuality it is our feelings. And while some feelings can be true, not all of them are. And so instead of expressing our feelings, we retreat to the hermitage, but we find the devil there. And we get really comfortable going back to our isms and ideologies that justify our isolation. It's comfortable there. The devil is familiar. But what we don't see is our retreat. The isolation as a coping mechanism for not particularly just conflict with other people or misunderstandings with other people, but even from, and more importantly, from exposing our full self. We like to keep the devil in the cave. But do you see how that is disingenuous? To stow away a part of yourself, even if you deem it unworthy, even if you're afraid that no one will like you if they find out about it. Whatever the case is for you leaving the devil in the cave, expressing anger, expressing emotions that aren't, perhaps desirable. Pain, hurt, upset. Retreating instead of expressing those things, instead of allowing yourself to advocate for yourself or to simply express because you want to hide behind this idea that you're more measured, that your principles do not allow you to behave in certain ways. You're lying to yourself and to other people, but more importantly to yourself. Because when you slip away to the cave, you feel the anger, you feel the pain, you feel the upset, or whatever it is, and you fester in it. And it creates more rigid ideologies and isms. And then when you re-engage with the world outside of your cave, outside of yourself, you become very rigid and unable to deal with conflict, to deal with the things and the people and the circumstances that perhaps you don't like or are unacceptable or undesirable. And to a certain extent, Leo, I feel like this is an avoidance. Perhaps you're avoiding letting other people know that you do need help or that you are in pain or that, in fact, you don't have it all together or you can't handle the magnitude or that there's a devil in your cave at all. We can only trust other people, Leo, to the extent to which we can trust ourselves to be ourselves. And there's never going to be a point where you emerge from that cave and you receive praise from everyone, or that everything goes well, or that there aren't conflicts, or that people don't disappoint you, or that you don't disappoint other people. That's never going to be the case, right? But avoiding is a very poor strategy, primarily for yourself. Because what you end up doing here, Leo, is preserving the ego. And when you preserve this idea that people should align with your principles, people should do things as you would do them, because that's the right way to do it. Because how could it be otherwise? And you get into this internal loop. It does you no good, Leo, to retreat, especially in your dealings with other people. Now, if there are situations where you know you need to cut someone off, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the shutting down, the going inward, not expressing how you feel. It's easier to shut down than it is to work through something. And just because you feel a certain way doesn't make it true. Or let me put it better, just because you feel a certain way doesn't make it true for the people that you are engaging with. That rigidity can come off to other people as a need for compliance. And there's a certain manipulative quality to removing your energy from a situation with someone you care about because you are upset when you're not expressing yourself. Now, I'm talking about when you remove your energy, remove yourself from the situation and never return to it or never resolve the conflict, but instead continue on as if it was resolved itself. Or you go into your cave and resolve it by yourself and don't include the other person. While that may be a protective tactic, it's also a very selfish tactic. And it's coiling that snake of ego around your throat even more intensely. It's a long journey, Leo, to be able to stand in your full, authentic presence, especially out in the world with other people. And I see that you've strived to do that and you are making progress in that. However, the coping mechanisms, the retreating inward, the thinking I have to figure it all out on my own and I have to isolate in order to do that, it's not serving you anymore. It has in fact created a circular logic and a behavioral pattern. And it feeds your ego. And I don't mean ego in the sense of the part of you that would boast about yourself or anything like that. I mean the survival part. The part that is self-centered, self-focused. The part that needs to control the emotions, not only of yourself, but of others. That's why you retreat. It's a control tactic. It makes you feel safe. Back with the devil in the cave, you can control all of that. That's why you retreat there. But you don't see how that's robbing you. You don't see how that's repressing a whole part of you. And of course it's not going to feel good. Untangling this. Coming out of the cave. We're not retreating to the cave to begin with. It's not going to feel good. It's going to feel very uncomfortable. But it's absolutely necessary. Unless that cave is your destination and where you want to be and where you want to stay, by all means. But you are being controlled by your own defense mechanisms, your coping mechanisms. It's almost like there's a leash around your neck. You have to return to that isolation, to the cave. It's time to break the chain, Leo. I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope to see you in the next one.